Very good.
Again.
Yeah.
Okay, call the meeting to order. It's 1:30. Roll call, please.
All right, Catherine Nolte. Paula Crocker, Marcia Dykes. Mackie Harding.
Here.
Cindy McLean. Arlene Brown.
Here.
Norma Sokowski.
Here.
John Thomas.
Excuse.
And Marjorie Winslow.
Here.
And Scott Johnson and Naomi Rodriguez.
Okay, any comments about the January 26 minutes?
Naomi.
The only comment I have is a friendly amendment to add my name as present. And also chairperson to be Norma Sokowski, not Mary Jane Peterson. That's all.
Okay. We have a motion to approve the minutes as corrected. Second. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Do we have any citizen comments? Under communications, we have some new members, and what I'd like to do at this time, if it's okay, is just if we could go around and give our names, because we have new faces here. So I'm Norma, this is Colleen.
Actually, we probably pass these around.
Oh.
Just so Naomi can hear us.
Colleen Brown.
Marcia Dykes.
Cindy McLean. Margaret Winslow. Mackie Harding.
Paula Crocker.
Colleen Lauer. Monika Verebelyi.
Scott Johnson. Very correct.
Okay. Do we have your report, Scott, please?
Yes. All right. So good news, the dishwasher is finally installed and working properly. So we're able to use silverware again. I talked to the mayor about the ARPA funding, and it was brought up about the doors in February 15th public hearing. And it's still on their list and actually on the list of possible projects to be approved. So that's good. It's not, they had a short list of things they weren't going to do. It was not on that list. So it's still being considered as one of the projects to be approved for funding out of the ARPA funds that the town will be receiving. I think they put in $5,000 for the automatic door openers for the bathroom. The budget, I had the meeting with the mayor, and we had no cuts made in that meeting. The next step is the finance budget meeting on March 17th. After that, I'll go to town council and then public hearing for the town to approve. I can keep you updated if they cut anything through that process. For spring events magazine, info submitted. Actually, the magazine should be mailed out by the end of this week to all Ledger and Galesbury residents. Next week, yeah, next Tuesday we'll be starting our Tuesday morning buffet. So it'll be $5 the first thing. It's an all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet that we'll be having. So that'll be starting up in March as we had planned.
Bandied about other than.
It's for the seniors. Yeah.
Is there any time for that?
I believe it's
8:30.
10:30. There's a good span of time that you can kind of come in as they please. Have breakfast, we'll have it on the hot things. And so we do have some upcoming events that are included. We have March 9th is tenor Mark Keaton sings a program of opera, Broadway songs. We have March 12th, it's a collaboration with the library and Historic Commission, Historical Society to we're having the cabaret with Patty Carver again, after having to cancel it, I think the last 2 years because of COVID. That's on a weekend, but we will be having that. We have our St. Patty's Day lunch on March 16th, and actually Sergeant McKinney's going to come do a presentation on scams. April 6th, we have the Denison Pequot Nature Center come and do a presentation on owls called Predators in Your Backyard. She was able to get a grant and provide the presentation for us. And April 13th, we have the Easter luncheon, and then we'll have another performance with Gerald and the guests. And then May 4th, the Mother's Day luncheon, and May 5th, Cinco de Mayo taco bar. So it'll be good to have, multiple commission members there in attendance to support those events specifically, not necessarily every Wednesday lunch, but those are the bigger ones that are coming up if you're able to attend. Yep.
These are all Wednesdays, except for Patty Carver's.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Cinco de Mayo
It's on Thursday.
is Thursday. Okay. Any comments on staff report?
Do we do anything for the food? Do we make things and bring them in? I mean,
No, so Jimmy will take care of all that, and it's usually $7 for the meal. Either Jimmy or there's outside organizations that will come in as well. And if an outside organization comes in and cooks the meal, all the money will go to them. It's usually a nonprofit or charity group. So the money will go to them. It helps cover the cost of the meal and they get to keep whatever's left over.
oh, okay.
Is there a charge for the breakfast buffet at this time?
$5 for the breakfast.
Wait, maybe we could have an update from Mackie on what's happening with our hometown heroes. Could you pass this on?
Did you have a question, Paula?
I did. Is there any thought of raising the prices due to the price of food and everything else going up so much, or $7 is still covering it right now?
Right now, it seems to be covering it. We'll have to keep an eye on that though, especially as we're predicting the prices might go up
Right.
rapidly.
And they've gone up quite a bit
Yeah,
already.
but I hear they might go up even more. Issues going on in the world, so.
Just curious.
Okay. About the Quilts of Valor. Whether or not we're going to do it. We've been decided that, I could say it's on Friday, yay, we could do it then, but then we're closed on Friday, at Friday, so.
I'm just trying to tell them what to do. Maybe some of the people
Okay.
here might not know.
Why did you know that? Okay. It's an organization that, I don't have, that's a lady started, when she noticed her son who'd been serving, after he came home, he only found comfortable in this coat and the quilt they had. And from that, she started this Quilts of Valor Foundation, and all over the country, people make quilts of specific sizes, and they have certain requirements for them. And then they're available for people like groups like us to, if you want to honor any of the military people, retired military people in the center, in the community, like that. So we've been talking about doing that. We haven't had one since 2019. I think that was the last one we had. So we're trying to get it back on the ground. But instead of, it used to be called Hometown Heroes, but we've been thinking that maybe it should be changed to something like Quilts of Valor Presentation, or presentation of Quilts of Valor, something like that. So anybody driving by and seeing it will know what it means. And or if they don't, they can ask. Go back to the date, thinking, well, either the day before Veterans Day, which would be a Thursday, or the previous Friday. Because we don't want to go down afterwards, it's getting too close to Thanksgiving and then people go away. So that was the thought being bandied around. And we have a dinner. The last one that I did with them, like lasagna and bread and things like that. All the people who are getting quilts have a free meal and they have one person extra, you know, plus one they have. And then we sell tickets open to the community up until our capacity. And right now, I guess we don't really know what our capacity is in here because there's no way we're having 80 people. And yeah, but I was talking about social distancing, if that's still going to be a problem back by November. I think.
And the others that take, or many of them are family members who
Right.
come,
Yeah.
but they would,
Yeah.
and friends of the
Yeah,
person
and-
who's being honored as well.
Exactly.
So,
And with the price of we charged them $8 last time. But like you said, with the prices of food going up, I think we're gonna have to be thinking in the $10 to $12 range. Probably we're not trying to make any money, we're just trying to break even, but I don't know that we can put the whole bill. So you have to, it'd be like doing a Wednesday luncheon on Friday night.
and it wouldn't be real late at night, it would probably start about 5,
Right.
so that it's beginning to get dark when everybody goes, but not so dark that they're afraid to come out at night.
And, well, we start with like a flag ceremony, opening ceremonies with the flag and the pledge and things like that. And then we have a meal, and after the meal's finished, then hopefully the lady that I've been conversing with will be able to come up. She's the director of the district or something now. I've been emailing with her, and the last person we had was the same kind of director, and she came and presented all the quotes. People who are interested have to fill a form to fill out with their name and rank at retirement and its description of what they did. And then that's emailed in so that they have them. And we decide on the time and the date.
Well, maybe it would be appropriate to have a vote by the commission to say that we want to do this now that we have some of the background information. Will we make them a vote?
No, no. Deborah, who I've been talking to, they have people making quilts. So they just started up, and then the last email I got, she said, oh, now she's this new person, and she's got access to a lot more. And she said, oh, yeah, you know, you can do up to 20 people. I'm going, oh, no. So we were thinking 4, 5, give or take. The only requirement that she had, request that she had, because I asked if we could do it here. Apparently they have big ones someplace else, like the one in Niantic. They have a whole bunch of people come in and they get their quotes. But we're doing it differently with the dinner. And I forgot where I was going with this.
This is just ledger.
They would have one
I know.
extra person.
Yeah,
If they had
I-
someone,
I
that's
just
where
think,
you
yeah.
would go.
We're hoping to have, if we do it here, she just asked if there's somebody that's in our vicinity that's already on the list, if we do include them in it. As far as I know, that's fine. And
You mean, somebody's already gotten a quilt.
no. These are people, this is a man who's on no, it could be a man or a woman, has already submitted their name electronically, and then they've got a list going out, of people who are requesting a
I
quilt.
didn't know that.
And, because I told her, I said, we are trying to keep it in town where it's close to like, first the senior center, and then Gales Ferry Ledger, and then we go out a little bit bigger. So it's, people were likely to know. So we sell tickets for the food. And we're going to head right down, you can't get in without it. One year they did it, and somehow somebody down the phone and said, oh, they're honoring veterans, and they were flooded with people. And who thought they were getting a free meal, didn't pay anything. We made a big point last time, that letting them know that nobody had to pay, and you have to have it. And we have 4 names, possible names.
Mike, he weakened yesterday. He
Oh, good.
said, if Maggie talks to me, I'll think.
I'll talk to him.
He didn't even say that to me last time, but if Maggie talks
Okay.
to me.
And the one, Barbara, that you all were talking about, I may know her by sight, I don't have
Do you
any.
need her contact information?
Well, did you say that you knew somebody who lived next to her?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That could talk
Right.
to her?
But I think we need to have, before we go any further, a vote by the commission that we want to pursue this.
But that's not what I have. Anything else? Any questions you have, I'll refer back to Deborah to clarify that.
Are they catering this also?
I'm sorry?
Is this being catered? Is
No.
it here?
Yeah, it's here, Jimmy.
Jimmy will talk.
What's his title?
He's
Oh,
our
here's
chef.
nutrition science
He does all our cooking.
If you want a good meal. Gee, Jimmy, that's really great. Wow, nothing.
And we thought we would let him too pick the meal that he wants to fix, what's easiest for him. Instead of us saying, well, we want prime rib for everyone, and, you know, because he knows prices and what's easiest to cook for, you know, a lot of people. So we thought we'd get his input on the meal too.
I think pasta usually. So
Yeah, that's
what
nice.
we've done, I think in the past for that reason, it's easy for him to cook both pasta and, you know, meatballs, but it's cheaper and it's easy for.
Because lasagna is there.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll, you know, get in touch with him to get his input on that.
Okay, so do we want to have a vote on whether we carry through with this? Do you want to pick a date first?
I think we should have a motion and then come back with some more details next month. Now that if we know the commission wants to go ahead, then start filling in the blanks.
Okay, so we can just make a motion to go ahead and have the veterans, dinner. Okay, I'll make the motion. I make a motion that we do go ahead and do the dinner and the Quilts of Valor at the senior center.
Should we include the month? Kind of.
November, I'll put on
Because that was kind of
November.
a big toss
Yeah.
up this summer.
Motion to hold the ceremony for Quilts of Valor in November.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Any other questions we need to do with this? Nope.
Not right now.
Don't expect me to catch that.
Don't expect me to go that far.
Under new business, you'll see that it says class walk-ins. I requested Scott to put this on the agenda because people have been coming to me asking why we no longer have walk-ins at the classes. And some of them have been quite vehement about it, especially with more vacations coming up and whatnot. It's like, gee, I don't want to pay for all the sessions. I know I'm going to miss this many. And anyway, I throw that out there to see if it's something that you might want to reconsider.
Well, the reason we went that way. She's not here. Oh,
She's there.
The reason we voted this way, because certain classes that had a lot of people were complaining that walk-ins would come and take a spot that somebody else had already paid for, and they were getting, I got the impression it was happening a lot. And the prepaid people, for another word, were getting upset, and they didn't like this was happening, so we voted that we would not have walk-ins, so that this didn't happen again. I don't know how full the classes are now. This wasn't back before COVID. Was this back before COVID? We did
I think
that?
it was back before COVID, yeah, 'cause we couldn't. Yeah, it was back before COVID when we had a lot of people taking the classes, and that did happen. It happened actually frequently. And people would come and they'd see, because Karen always said, I only have 20 people. And they'd come to the door with somebody who would pay for the whole class, and they wouldn't be able to get in. So that was happening. Now, the 2 yoga classes that I take, the silver sneakers class is, 13, 14 people. That one seems to be all right. You're a walk-in, I mean, you can come and pay your $5 and not come for 2 weeks or whatever you want. But that seems to be going, the classes aren't too big, and everybody seems to have a spot. The yoga classes, they all have spots because there are only 4 or 5 people in the class. Karen's not teaching here this year. So, I mean, a walk-in would be acceptable for both Annie's classes. So, and it would be acceptable, I guess, if Robin says it is for her, for silver sneakers, but there are a lot of people at silver sneakers classes.
Right, and that's
So,
not.
It's not,
That's not.
no, that's not really a senior center class anyway. So the yoga classes, the chair yoga, I don't know how Sandy's class is.
That has 17 people.
That has 17.
17 that are at half the.
That's a lot. in a class.
And then Annie's has 7 on Wednesdays and I believe 4 on Fridays.
Now, today we had 5, I think.
But 7 are, because I have 7.
Yeah, okay.
So 7 have paid.
So we could still have walk-ins for those classes, but I don't know how you do that with walk-ins for some and not for others.
Yeah, but then you gotta track all that,
I
right?
think
How do you
really
track
have
all
to
that?
have it one way or the
I
other.
don't think you should have walk-ins.
Years ago, when there was this problem, if the classes were really large, if you wanted to be a walk-in, you had to wait until, like, just when the class was about to start. So people showed up and the class still too bad.
That's right, you couldn't get in.
So actually, my concern is almost for the opposite of Matthew's. That's a concern, but also now with having less people, my concern is when you take walk-ins, some of those people don't register and then the class gets canceled. So if we don't have the minimum, the class gets canceled, and then 4 people show up the day the class is, oh, I was gonna walk in. Well, we canceled it because, we didn't meet the minimum requirement. So if we do walk-ins, I'd recommend it be like $8, so it's not really worth the walk-in unless you're only gonna do it, 2 or 3 times. That way you're kind of forced to register so we can actually offer the class and not be canceling as many. That was kind of the issue at the beginning of COVID that we saw with the walk-ins. We'd have a lot of people show up the day of and we'd already canceled because we didn't have enough people. It makes it easier for us to know that we can count on, the number when you do the walk-in. Kind of, it's an unknown variable for us.
So the walk-ins would pay $8 if we did that, and the others would be a registered person would pay the registered fee, which is about 5, I think it is.
Yeah.
A class.
I think if you don't have walk-ins, maybe it would force people to sign up for the class.
Yeah.
And I know in my class, I teach routines. So somebody walking in on the 5th week it's difficult.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't think we should have walk-ins at all.
That's how I.
That's just my
That's my
opinion,
feeling.
because, it's harder for these guys to track, it's harder for the instructors to know how many people
It's
they're
a
having. and-
disruption to the class.
Yeah.
It's already in.
Yeah.
I think, I'm not in favor.
It was brought up today at yoga also, that somebody really wants to take it, but she's not here enough and doesn't want to pay for the whole thing.
Oh, that's.
So, but that's right.
Or that's anything in life.
Yeah.
You know?
Don't always make it, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Go where you think you're gonna go.
Well, then I put that on there because now
I can too, I can too.
Okay, Groton rebranding.
All
We
right,
need to
so,
vote.
Do we need to vote on that or just let it, I'll just put it in there that it was discussed and it was the opinion of the commission that walk-ins would not be, okay.
Because it's already
technically,
established.
we're
It's
not
already
making a change.
established, yeah. Okay.
So actually Karen wanted me to add this, and she's not here, but it is kind of a good point. So I don't know if anybody knows or has paid attention to Groton lately. They've rebranded. They are no longer calling themselves the Groton Senior Center. They're calling themselves Thrive 55. They actually did a big study in 2019. And I guess the word senior kind of scares some of the younger seniors away from using the senior center. A lot of the incoming seniors, people turning 55 want to be more active, and that word senior center kind of scares them. It doesn't seem like it's an active place to go when really we are. There's yoga classes, exercise classes. So they are rebranded as a way to try and get away from that perception. So I don't know if it's something we want to look at for the future or see how things go with Groton, the rebranding, but they did change their name, and I know there's other senior centers in the state that are actually starting to consider the same thing. Because we kind of have to adapt as things change over time to get in the new people.
The problem I have with this new name is that, to me, it doesn't indicate that they have a senior center, whatever you want to call it. If I'm new in town, I'm driving around and I know about senior centers, I'm going, there's no senior center here. And so I personally think it's a stupid name.
And you could name it anything you want. That's just what they rebranded as.
Yeah, well, I just asked it out there and it's like, yeah, it's a senior center. So, I mean, and it says down here that they will keep the name for what, 6 months?
They're just
A
trying it
senior
out, we're
center.
trying it out.
Yeah, somewhere it's about keeping with senior.
No, the powered by the Groton Senior Center will stay on the name for about 6 months.
Right, but it's written down in little tiny words compared to the rest of it. So anyway,
But there would be a cost to changing the name also, like new sign that just got put up and new sign over there and I'm just saying. So something, my opinion, I don't think it would change much of who comes here. But
or wait and see how much it does change down in Groton. And does it, bring in 100 people, or is it bring in 3 people? So something like that. Plus, like I said, it's just not a senior center. I mean, now I would feel left out because it's like 55, even though it says 55 plus, even though it has that plus on there, you don't really see that plus with the 55 like that.
yeah, but if you look anything up to do with the senior center, it says everywhere 55 plus. If you look on the website or the town's website, it says actively something for people 55 years and above. So it does say the 55.
Do we have a breakdown of the various age groups that are using the senior center? Like, do we know about what ages are mainly using it?
I can look that up actually, because we just got a registration module that we have the Park and Rec system to track the senior center and do the membership card. So I think we can look at our senior members and get a
It'd just
breakdown.
be interesting to see about what age groups are using it.
Well, most people 55 are still working and the senior center is
Exactly
only
right.
open during the day. So you're gonna, I would think you would find that there's not very many people in that age group using it anyways. The Groton Senior Center is open longer hours than here and stuff. They're open in the evening and I believe they're open on Saturdays
We
too.
have an exercise room that people use all the
Yeah, so, that's the one thing with the 55. Yes, it's good, but most people are still working at it. you know, so.
Maybe we should wait and see what happens in Groton.
I say we just watch and follow along and see, you know, what, you know, if it made a difference in there.
Because the newsletter now, like we brought the seniors 55 and up, or we want to do seniors 55 and up, just put right on the newsletter.
I think it's on there. I think it's on there, yeah.
Yeah. But it's still at the senior center,
Right.
you know, and people that somebody says, try 55, oh, where's that? And then they go and they say, this is the senior center.
Yeah.
No.
And then they turn their car around and they turn it over.
I don't know.
But yeah, it would be nice to know the ages of people.
There's 55 on there.
Or the senior active center, I just like, well, that's something that Pam tried to get out there, putting that active in there.
Well, yeah, the active living center is
Well, she's an active person. Do you think?
And we can focus more on that, trying to just, rather than rebrand the name, push, you know, market that, you know, all the active stuff that we have.
Yeah.
Well, I've talked to people just out and about, like one lady, I was on the bed next to it, we call it physical therapy, and talking, and I had on my Ledger Senior Center shirt, and she said, oh, something about it. And I said, well, told her where it was, and she said, oh, I thought that was the Gales Ferry one. So everybody comes by and knows this is Gales Ferry, and this is the Gales Ferry one, which is the Ledger Center one, or the Ledger one. And it's like, no, that's the whole one. That's why I said she can Ledger Gales Ferry Senior Center.
It's a long name.
I was asked to add it, so I say it as normal. Put it on there, so I could say I did.
So by next month, you'll provide the ages of our members, correct?
Yeah, I can actually probably email that. Well, leave it out today, so.
All right. So that would be good, just as information.
Actually, thanks.
I'd like to know how many people are here on a database, how many are the same people, and how many new people come in. So, you know, like we all know Jean's here morning to night. You know,
Mostly the same
it takes a
people.
snowstorm to grow it. So, but I mean, other people, like all the card players down there, there are days, even though I know they're down there, they walk by and I go, "There's you." And I think, oh, they're all down there.
We shouldn't get any more accurate picture of that too now, but most of the members have cards. That was the process of keeping everybody, you know, their bunch of cards. For the most part, I think it's now, it's just anyone new. It's easier for the staff. We have staff, like we're in our yoga classes, taking the classes to get all the cards.
And I
handed
push
out
it.
there.
Everybody I knew I talked to, I stand there and I list everything we have. And say, oh,
Eventually, are you gonna make it mandatory they have to have one?
Yeah, we're almost pretty much at that point.
All right.
That will allow us to see who's here, how long they're here, and get an idea of what they're doing. You know, based on if they're registered for a class during that time and longer. But it's, you know, a lot easier when they just swipe in for having to then look through your sign in sheets for each day. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to the gym and they make you swipe in and swipe out,
Mhm.
and it's a COVID protocol. So that God forbid something happens.
Right, they
have you listed.
Contact tracing, yep.
And it's good for us to have a girl, I could walk out the door and
Make sure everybody's out, yeah.
Doing a ton of-
it would be nice to sign up.
Yeah.
But I know there are some people that just said, I didn't get one, so I don't want one. I think it should be mandatory, that's just my opinion.
There was a few people that didn't want it that now have it.
You signed on online. She never filled out a paper. She said, I don't want to join the center. And I said, it's not joining the center per se. It's, you know, keeping you covered so if something happens, we know who to call and whatever.
Well, so she didn't sign up online, we actually have all that information. She didn't fill out paper one, but she put all that information in.
Okay.
No, she's
And
saying
they
for
could-
service sneakers, so we wouldn't have that.
Oh, actually, yeah, so the sneakers.
So she stopped coming, she went down. Sorry.
Well, Groton's gonna make her do.
Do that.
I didn't push it, but I showed her.
They're
It's just your.
higher tech than us, they have. touch
They have
screen
somebody
signing
there.
machines
If you're
and
not
monitors.
registered, they have someone. to check you in. Once you come in that door,
Oh, that's just the attachment for what we're talking about.
Okay. Any other new business?
Just the boxes that we have here, what we actually do here.
Yeah, I can get you a newsletter and then actually Monika might even have that picked up, events, sheet that we have. If there's things coming up.
We didn't get folders.
Yes, they have folders
Yeah,
are made.
folders already.
Mhm.
They did. They're right on top of things.
Well, maybe we should put on the agenda for next month, when we elect officers.
I'll look it up when I go home.
Yeah, I think-
'Cause I have bylaws at home, I just don't have them.
Any other business? Motion to adjourn,
Motion,
second? Okay.
all in favor?
Anybody opposed? Anybody who wants to stay? we'll just try and answer questions.
Have a good week. Bye.
Thank you, Kim.